BTI TV, Business, Technology, and Innovation. I'm your girl Aquila, and like I always say, it's showtime. Thank you all for always coming in every Sunday night at 8:30 just to see exactly what's going on. Thank you guys for helping me to support and promote so many Black-owned businesses. Shout out to all the Black-owned businesses that I've already interviewed and worked with, and I wish you guys so much success. I'm not going to continue to talk because I have something I want everybody to hear about tonight. So I'm going to bring in my guest right now. And here she comes. Hey, Willette. Hey, Mo. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah. I need you to do one little thing. I need you to pull your camera down some so your face is not just sitting. Yeah. Bring yourself down a little bit. Because like your head is
That
sitting on the table. Okay. Your head is still just sitting on the table, but we're going to go.
I'm short.
Uh, so, Mo, introduce yourself to everybody and let them know what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Monique. My author name is ML Ginn. I'm a self-published author straight out of Brooklyn, currently in Newark, New Jersey right now.
So, this book that you're writing, what type of book is it? What was the inspiration behind this book?
The inspiration was because I had a lot of thoughts about a lot of things that were going on in my life from childhood to adulthood, and everything was just sitting up in my head, just taking up a whole lot of space. And I got tired of just thinking about a lot of things. Some of it was bad, some of it was good. Nonetheless, it was all in my mind, and it was just, stuff that I felt like I wanted to write about, more so like in the form of a diary, not necessarily a book.
Okay.
The point was to do a diary. Like, I never really intended on doing a book. Like, that was never my intention. But from childhood, I used to write in diaries. So every time something would come to my mind, and it would be something that I was holding on to for a bit of a while, then I would decide, you know what, let me write that down in my notebook. So it became just a habit just to jot things down in a notebook, like I used to do with the diary. So I just kept doing that. And then I noticed that I kept doing it a lot. And this wasn't in a regular notebook. It was in a phone book. I don't know if you can remember, years ago, everybody had phone books, like
Yeah.
literally writing names and numbers down in a phone book.
Wow.
And so my mother and grandmother always had phone books, so I had to have one. But then I realized I never put anybody's number in the phone book because I was a cell phone person. So I started jotting things down in this book. And I'm like, okay, I'm running out of space in my phone book. So now let me just finish this in a notebook. So I decided to just rewrite the stuff. But then I noticed I started putting dates to it, like, dear diary, day such and such, this happened. So I started doing that. And I noticed that I had a whole timeline going to remind me of when was the last time I wrote. And then I would think, like, why did it take me so long to get back to the notebook and write again? And then I would remember, oh, well, there's a lot of drama going on in the house or stress at work and stuff like that. So it kind of threw me off from jotting down these memories. So then I just kept doing it. And then I would say 2010, I got on Facebook. And then I noticed the stuff that was going on social media was like a little crazy. Like, people were like pouring their hearts out on Facebook, telling all their business and beefing and just a lot of stuff. It wasn't really fun at first. It was, at first for me, it was like, it was nice because I'm finding all my friends from back in the days in school and stuff. But then this other stuff is like people really spitting out their whole everything. Like, this is too much. Like, they need therapy. Like, why are they doing all this on here? So I'm like, I'm not going to do stuff like that on my social media page. Like, I'm not going to spit my business. Like, if you need to know something about what's going on with me, you're not going to get it from social media. You're going to have to really know me in real life to get the real tea. And I just decided, let me just keep writing in my notebook. And then I'm like, okay, I'm doing a whole lot of writing in here because I'm starting to remember a whole lot of stuff. And I was like, maybe I should make something of this. Maybe I should write a book. But then I was like, no, I can't write a book because then I'm going to put everybody in my business. And I can't put everybody in my business. If you know, but I'm not just going to give it to you like that. And I'm like, well, maybe I can do it. And it was just eating at me to do it. I'm like, well, I don't have the time to do it. Well, I don't know how to do it. Well, I don't have the money to do it. And I was like, you know what? The more I saw what was going on Facebook, it gave me more of a reason to do it. Like, I
Sure.
want to talk about the stuff that happened in my life, but I just definitely don't want to do it there. So you know what? I'm definitely going to do the book. And then I started telling a few people, like, I'm about to do a book. And they're like, girl, please. Oh, stop it. And I'm like, no, seriously, like, I'm going to do it. Like, I got the notebook. Let me show you my notebook. I got this notebook full of stuff. And it's all true. Like, this is my life for real. And they're like, girl, whatever. I'm like, all right. And then I even created the name for the book. I'm like, look, the book got a name. So I got to do it. I got a name. They're like, okay.
And what's the name of the book?
Can't get it right, but trying.
Now, I got two questions. How long did it take you to write this book? And that name, what's the significance with that name or that title?
Well, I can't really put a time frame on how long it took me to write the book because it was just a diary for so many years. I would say the diary writing started, I'm going to say maybe like 2008 or 9. It was just diary writing. And then I kept the diary writing going through 2010. And then I really got serious about doing this in 2013.
Okay.
I got super serious about like officially 2013 when I was like, that's it. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And then I made it official and put it out in 2017.
Okay. So now the title, what's the significance behind that title? Because it's a nice title.
Well, the title, what I thought about it long and hard, and I feel like that really describes how I move. Like I'm always trying to do stuff, but yet I always kind of mess up with stuff. Like I fumble along the way, fail on a few things, but I don't give up. I don't give up. I keep trying. Like I'll figure it out. I don't always figure things out right away, but eventually I'll figure it out. But nonetheless, I can't, like, for the most part, that was me. I just can't, things just can't go my way. Things just can't go right. But I just never give up. I may take a break from it, but I'll get back to it.
Well, that's the most important part. And hey, I commend you for that because a lot of people, when things start to go hard or start to go left, they give up. They just can't deal with things anymore. So the publishing, how did you go about getting the book published?
Well, I started looking up because I'm like the Google queen. Like I grew up in the era where you had to look everything up in a dictionary. You had encyclopedias. In my house, we had A through Z of encyclopedias. So I know how to look up something or research something. Like I didn't live in a house where you ask the grown-ups a question, they just give you the answer. In my house, you better look it up, point blank. So I was always good at researching stuff. So I thought about how am I going to get this book out and how much money is it going to cost? Because then that's going to be the next roadblock. Oh, you're going to do it, but guess what? Then now you don't have the money to do it. So then that was going to be the next reason why the book never happened. So after doing a few webinars, researching how to do book publishing and researching a lot of publishing companies and calling a few publishing companies to ask questions like, well, how much does this cost? Or what do you give me for this? I found that the companies was going to get a whole lot of your money, and what you get back is just solely on you at the end of the day. But they benefit first. You benefit last. And then I thought about it like, well, if I go into business with a company, they might try to dictate how this gets done and
Yeah.
the way it gets put out. And then I was thinking they may try to alter some things like, well, this is good. You said that paragraph was good, but maybe you could say this, or maybe you could say that. And I just thought about, nobody's not going to change how this is done, and nobody's going to make me reword this any differently. This is my words, my story, and I want it told my way. This is too personal for me to put this in the hands of a company. You know, like, I don't want them to say, well, that part of your life, that was a little, maybe we could spice it up and say this. Like, no, I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm not going to spice up something. If this is the truth, this is the truth. It's already scary for me to be this open and honest with the public to even put it in writing. So you're not going to rephrase it. And in certain parts of the book, I even wrote things how I would have said it at that time in my life. So if a certain parts seem just a little extra ghetto, that's just who I was at that moment. Like, I would have said this just like that at 15, 16 or whatever. Like, I went into that mindset at that moment. And so I found an editor that's in California. She's in business for herself. She has her own company. And she was like the most helpful person I came across in the process. Like, I would ask her questions and she didn't have to answer. And she was actually the first person that was willing to really go back and forth and answer questions without making me pay a fee for it. You know, everything is a fee for this, and or join me for this, and this one consultation is free, but then you get 3 more opportunities after that to ask me 3 more questions, then you got to sign up. And she was the only person that helped me try to sort things out. And so I ran the package deals that the companies gave me to her. Like, what do you think about this? Does this make sense? And she was like, why would you let somebody else publish your work? That's so personal to you. Why not do it yourself? And I was like, well, I really don't know how to do it. It just seems like too much. And then she was like, it's actually cheaper if you self-publish it. And I was like, well, I can't imagine how, but could you explain it to me? And she was nice enough to break things down to me and tell me how, well, there's just a fee to do the covers, then you have your editing fees, and you can, your photos, if you want photos in it, it's really not as expensive as you think it is. And once you start tallying up the cost for you doing it yourself, you saving a lot less money. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I thought about it, and I was like, this could be the first thing that I did in full completion ever in my life, besides carrying a baby to full term and having it. Like, if I do this and create a company, this is the start of building a legacy to leave for my son when I'm no longer here. Right. So I started thinking about it like that. Like, I have to have something to leave behind. I'm not going to leave my son debt. I'm not going to leave my son bills and stuff like that, or a couple of dollars from an insurance policy. It's more to that. Like, right. I got to leave him something to be able to show. And so I decided, that's it. I'm going to self-publish it. I'm going to create a name. I'm going to learn how to do an LLC, like everything. I'm going to get a tax ID, everything between me and Google. I got it done.
So James Robinson said, tell us something that's in the book.
Tell us something that's in the book. Okay, well, I start in the beginning of the book. I talk about how the relationship started with me and my son's father, and the relationship blossomed after a party in the community room around our way. And it was like through some dirty dancing that we, decided that we was going to like each other a little bit more than we should. And that's how that relationship started. And before you know it, boom, baby daddy.
See, now what you were telling, nobody could actually sit down and write that and tell that story but you. So right. Nobody technically couldn't publish it or get it the way you want it besides you.
Right.
Wow. So what was the response that you got from the book?
Well, for one, people that knew me and that were around at that time when I did the book, those that were actually there in those moments in real time, in real life, they were like, it's like, oh, I remember that. Like, oh, I remember that. I could punch a baby father. Like, I'm so mad at him. Like, they remember stuff. And then there's the people that didn't know me at that time that know me now, and they only pretty much knew me from work. And it's like, oh, I didn't know all that stuff was going on in your life. Like, oh wow, like you so strong. Like there's a lot of that. Or then the other part is some people, getting motivated to say, you know what, I want to talk about some stuff that happened to me too. I think I want to write a book too. Like I think I want to do that. Like you made me feel comfortable enough to try to do it. And I'm like, okay, you want to do it? Let me know. I'll help you. Like I hope you get it started. Tell your story, and I got you. I help you. I got you.
Willette said she's pearl collection chapters.
Willette was actually one of my testers before the book was published, because she didn't know when I first met her that I was writing a book. So, because I was still on doing the notebook stuff at the time. So I think I gave her about maybe 30 pages in the beginning. I just wanted to see what people thought. Like I wasn't going to change anything. I just wanted to see what somebody would think that didn't know this stuff. And so I was like, here, take these. Like I gave her copies of my notebook work, photocopied that and gave it to her. I gave it to just a few people, not too many people. Like, tell me what you think. Gave her like, here, take the weekend and check this out and let me know what you think. And she was like, girl, give me more. And I was like, no, can't give you more yet. Can't give you more. Gave her 30 pages and she wanted more.
But you know what? I commend you, because it's like really hard for people to really open up about themselves like that. And it's like it's hard because you say to yourself, if I open up and people now they think that they know who you are and they know all about you, right? So now it's like, how are these people gonna look at me now? How are they gonna respond to me now? So is that the feeling that you get at times?
Well, it's funny because my supervisor read the book, and we from different walks of life. So she read the book, and when she came back to work, she was like, I read this on the train. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said all that stuff in the book. Like I would have never told my business, like, oh my God, I would have kept all of that stuff a secret. As a matter of fact, I would have took it to my grave. Like, oh my God, like she was just stunned. Like, but when you come from different walks of life, like that's regular stuff that happened in my life. And
Because
a whole lot of people, right, a whole lot of people like, yeah, me too, like me too. And she was just like, oh my God, like horrified. I was like, well, it wasn't that I didn't kill nobody, but I mean, okay, like I'm not a murderer. I didn't bank rob, I didn't, I may have like not paid a cab fare or two once in my life, but I mean, like, it wasn't that bad. But she was just like, she was horrified by the book. I was like, wow. But we don't come from the same place. So,
exactly. And it make you realize that, like you said, everybody comes from different walks of life. You know what I'm saying? Because people are very quick to judge people. And then like, well, one thing about my other show that I have, Divaville, and when you was telling about how your book started, it reminded me of the reason why I started Divaville. So with Divaville, it's like I always had a lot of stuff that I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to put it out there. And I didn't know how to say it because I didn't know how people would actually respond to it. But then when I started Divaville, and I always use my tagline, my mind, my thoughts. So it's like everybody deserves to be heard. And whatever I'll say and whatever I do, I'm going to give you my disclosure, my mind, my thoughts. So you can't judge me for what I say. And then you realize, and I'm quite sure from the book, that you realize that somebody else has gone through that exact same thing that you went through, and they didn't know how to bring it up either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
a lot of people just not comfortable with talking about things that have happened in the past. But it was like I had to do it because I was holding on to too much in my head, and it was taking up too much space, and I couldn't think.
Miserable.
Right. I couldn't think, and a lot of things I just simply needed to let it go so I could move on with my life. And me putting it in a book freed up a whole lot of mental space that I needed to get back to think of new things and better things, because I always carried this dark cloud, and I kind of was always the person known as the negative person. I'm the negative one. Like for everybody that say yes to something, I'm gonna be the one like, no, I don't. I'm always that person. But it's like I'm not just the no person because I just like to be like that. Like there's a lot that comes with me on why I'm like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just to be the opposite of everybody else. That's just there's a lot that comes with who I was, and I just didn't know what to do with it. Like so, it was just sitting on me and weighing on me, and a lot of that stuff I let go, and it felt really good to let it go. And if I didn't write the book, I'd probably be still the way I was before, just trapped, like just trapped. Like I may not be the nicest person in the world still right now, but I am a lot better than I used to be.
Mo,
I'll
you a
admit that.
nice person. You a nice person. But you know what? For that one person who said to you, how could you put something like that in the book? You got 50
Hmm.
more people out there that's saying, thank you, because I felt the same way. I didn't know nobody else felt like this. I didn't know that somebody else was going through the same things that I was going through. What's your next project that you're
Right.
working on there, Mo?
Well, my next project is not another book. I'm not ready yet. Like, life is still happening and I'm not really ready to talk about it. I need to make some more adjustments in my life before I decide to do that. And I want to still take this book to another level. Like, it's still going bigger places.
Okay.
So when I started this book and released it, you were my first interviewer. You're the
Yeah.
first person that I have the opportunity to talk to about everything. So here we are again now. I'm on another level going somewhere with this, which will be a short film. Like that's my next project. I want to
Okay.
take a specific subject out this book that I think is really still till this day relevant. And I want to do a short film based on that.
So if you do the short film, are you going to play yourself in the short film, or would you cast people to play the parts?
No, I actually found someone that I had in mind who I thought would be a good younger Monique to play me. I might
Okay.
end up, I'm still kind of thinking about maybe pulling a Stan Lee and maybe show my
Try
face for like
to-
5 minutes in there. I'm thinking about maybe doing that. That's about it. But I definitely don't want to play me. It's just like no, I'm not trying to do that.
I'm glad that you said from writing the book that it took a lot off you, because people don't believe that when you write things down and let it go, that's the only way you free yourself of that stress. And people look at you and they say, this person doesn't have any problems. This person is always laughing. This person is always happy. And people don't know
Hmm.
exactly what you go through. Oh my God.
Right. They don't. I mean, like, I'm not one to sit and talk about everything to people. Like, I would never verbalize everything that was going on in my life. And that was the easiest way for me to get it out. Like, if I write it out, like, I was always good at writing anyway from high school. So I grew up in a time where in school, your punishment was writing assignments. Like, you're going to write. So it came natural and easy to me to just release things on paper. Like, that's the time that I grew up. You're doing writing assignments. So it's not punishment for me to start writing. Like I wrote everything. I even used to make little cheat sheets where I would fold the paper in half and write down who was my friends and who was the B word because I was a secret cursor when I was little. So, just any reason to write something, that's what I would do, just write about it. And then I incorporated that into my son's life when he was little. Like he's saying something he don't have no business saying. No, I'm not going to hit you because that's too easy and you might get used to that. So I had this thing where when I heard him say something he had no business saying, I would say, go get a pen and a paper. And he's like, sorry, 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 sorry. Nope, get the pen and paper. You already know. Sit down and write. So it's easy for him to put things into words on the paper because of doing that long time ago. And it's just so freeing. It's so refreshing to just get things out like that. Like if you're not comfortable with talking about stuff, write it out. Nobody ever has to hear it. They don't even have to read it. But if you take it from here and put it on the paper, you'd be surprised how good you feel afterwards.
So, I'm sorry. So
That's okay.
the writing is like it's therapy for you.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What type of marketing and promotion do you do for KT765 Publishing?
Well, I use social media for the most part and in person. And some of my good friends and family, they help me promote by sharing the book, talking about it with other people, reposting. And every little bit helps.
True.
Even my son actually talks to his friends about it, and he says, "Well, they're not really on that type of time. They're not ready yet, but I do talk about it." I'm like, "Well, you never know."
So, do you do any like book clubs or trade shows or anything with the book?
Well, I've joined two book clubs so far. One is on Amazon and one is with actor Adam Stevenson. He has a book club also that I joined. So that was another way for me to showcase my work and be able to talk about it as well.
So,
Which was good because they're people from all walks of life,
yes,
people that I would never see every day. So now they have insight on what my life was like.
and trust me, somebody else is going through that same thing.
Right.
Well, let's say, what advice would you give someone who is interested in writing?
What advice I would give them? Well, figure out what you want to talk about, how far you want to go. If it's personal, how deep are you willing to go? And how far back do you want to take it? And if it's personal, you got to remember too, you're more than likely going to be talking about other people from your life, either past or present. So you might want to also think about how you want to incorporate those people in the book. Do you want to sugarcoat it, or you want to just say the real? If you want to just say the real, that's fine. Just make sure you change the names so that they can't come for you later and sue you. Never use someone's name if you want to talk about a true story,
So,
because they'll definitely have the right to sue you.
yeah, especially if it's something bad about anyone, nobody to know it. They'll be like,
Exactly.
you said you wanted to tell your story. I ain't say I wanted to tell my story.
Exactly. And they will sue you. Like my ex-boyfriend, actually, I have a video of him and I saved the old phone that I don't even use no more because the video's on there with him saying that under no circumstances ever in life will he be able to come back and sue me based off of the things that I discussed pertaining to him in my book. And I have the video. Like, I will never throw that phone away because that video's in there. So if he ever decides one day that he's embarrassed about his role in the book, remember, it was really what you did or said, and you can't come for me because here's the video clip.
So how could someone purchase the book, and what will be the cost of it?
Okay, the book is $15. They can either reach out to me directly to get the book because I autograph copies and send them out myself, or they can go on Amazon if they want to purchase it from there, or if they want a Kindle read, it's also on Kindle as well on Amazon, and it's also online with Barnes and Noble. And I saw doing a Google search one day, it's actually in other countries also. I did a random search about the book, and I saw it, and I believe it was in Sweden. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't know that, but okay.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. Is it hard copy and digital?
Yes.
Okay.
There's digital and hard copy. And I keep copies of it myself in the house for people that want autographed copies. Because everybody, I have some people that didn't want the book from Amazon because they like, no, you didn't sign it. I don't want it from there. They want it from me signed.
That's nice.
No problem. Right.
Well, how did you come up with your book cover design?
Okay, the book cover design was pretty much based off of me and my son, really how we were back in the 90s together. Like, it was always me and him. And I had an illustrator draw the cover. I didn't want actual actors of a woman and a little boy walking up this road that's going uphill towards sun, and a lot of bags on her shoulders and bags all over the floor behind them. I just couldn't see that happening in an actual photo. So I needed an illustrator to draw it out. And with my son looking up at me as we walk into this brighter future, that's exactly how me and my son was when we were younger. And to be honest, sometimes he's still like that, looking up to me like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get this done? Where is it going? And the way the illustrator captioned him looking up at me, that's literally an image that would show how we really were back in the days, because he looked to me for everything. And the bags on the floor demonstrate me getting rid of a lot of baggage as time went by in our lives. So you see bags on my shoulders still, but there's quite a few on the floor behind me because things started to get a little better as time went by. And it's like the way my face is looking up at the sun, like, okay, I see it. I see the light. I see things getting better. It's sunny that way. And then my son looking at me, it looks like he would be asking me, where are we going? Because that's how he was. What are we doing? Where are we going? That's how he was to me. He's still kind of like that now. He's like a big mama's boy.
I think I have a copy in the room, but I don't have a I don't have an autograph copy, so I guess I'm gonna have to get an
I got
autograph
you.
copy. Yeah,
I got you.
autograph for it. So let me see. I have one more comment, then I'm gonna end it. Have you ever considered doing a writing class to help beginners?
Absolutely. Like privately, people seem to be afraid to talk in groups. So I have a lot of private conversations about learning how to get things started where people say, I want to do a book, but I don't even know where to start. Like as far as what do I put on the first page? I don't even know what the first sentence should be. Like, should it be the basic sentence, it was a bright and sunny day, or one of those things? Like, people really don't know how to get it started. And I was one of those people too. But when I realized I was going to make this personal, I knew how to start it. So a class is something, excuse me, that I definitely have in mind. But a lot of people seem to be more comfortable talking one-on-one. So I'm not sure how I can get them comfortable. I may, since we all in a virtual world right now, I may end up doing a Zoom to get people comfortable with it. So now they don't have to worry about sitting in the classroom,
Yeah.
looking around, feeling like their question is dumb, so they don't want to ask the question. Like, everybody feels comfortable in the comforts of their home saying whatever they want to say. And at least with Zoom, you don't have to show your face when you're talking. You can be this emoji of a face and you just talk.
So my time is up. I appreciate you coming on, but is there anything that you like to say to the people before we end this?
Well, first off, I want to thank you because, like I said before, you gave me my first interview. I didn't even know how to use Zoom until I had the interview with you. So I appreciate you for that, because it was time for me to come out of hiding and start learning how to talk to the people. I can't always be that person just being the mouth amongst my friends. I got to be able to get comfortable with other people. So I thank you for that first interview. And here we are now, doing this again. And now still a little nervous, but for the most part, like, you make
Girl,
things
you
a
ain't
lot
all
easier
nervous.
for me, and I just want to thank everybody that has my back from the moment I said I was going to do it till the moment it came out. Like my friends at work, like Willette and my friend Viviana and my friend Toya, they were like, when I said the book hit Amazon, they was battling over who got the first copy. Like, I ordered first. No, I ordered first. And that just made me feel so good. Like, I was so grateful for that. Like, I don't know how to be big on my emotions. Like, I'm not a crier and stuff like that. But I tell you, if you want me to curse somebody out, I can do that immediately. There was that other emotion that I struggle with, but it warmed my heart for all these people that knew me, and a lot of people that didn't even really know me that well, how they came through just to show support, even if it was just a picture posting of the book. That just means a lot. Even if you inbox me because you didn't want to be public with it, I appreciate any type of way that anybody showed me any type of love. And as far as just circling back one time to you with a thank you, like, I have, in the midst of the project I'm putting together, there is a couple of things that I want to put you on to as far as the project, because there's a segment to the short film that I'm doing. And in the process, I'm going to have someone come in that's going to do some interviewing of a few close friends and family and stuff. And I want to extend that offer to you first.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Hey,
I
I'm here.
think it's only right. I think it's only right. You know, you got to circle things back to the beginning of where it started. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were the first person to give me an opportunity to sit in front of a camera, which I was afraid to do and speak. And you thought about me to bring me back here again. So now that this same project is going to another level, it's important for me to bring people along the journey that was there from the beginning. I'm not a fan of new things and new people, but you know, one thing I do respect is loyalty.
Well,
So
you gonna make me cry. I'm telling you. The,
no, we are not crying today. No,
the,
we're not crying today.
the last couple
No.
that I've done a show, and that's what it's done. But I appreciate it. I would love to be a part of your next project. I would love to come in to do interviews and everything for
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I appreciate that. I'm thankful. And I truly believe that I get my blessing from helping other people. So I'm going to end this because I'm not going to start to crying because lately I have a
Can
bad
you hear
habit
me?
of doing
I
that.
can't hear you.
I can hear
Don't you
you.
cry.
Okay, you guys. So this is the end of this. I want to thank Mo for coming on, for talking about her.
No crying.
Thank her for coming on, talking about her book. Thank you also for extending the opportunity for me to come out and do interviews and be a part of your next project. I really appreciate that. Thank all of you guys for coming in and watching this. I'm going to sign off now. Mo, thank you again. And to everybody, good night.